Hello, guys. This is Shar. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Now, y'all, this is the review of last night's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, this picture, the main optic, y'all, is Just Desserts. It's called Just Desserts. This is the expression of someone who is getting what they damn deserve. Now, at the round table, the very first scene is the guys out and about at a restaurant, sitting around chopping it up like guys do. And at the end of the day, they all got on Ken like they always do, asking him basically, what's up? Like, give us the update. Are you marrying old girl or what? I'm assuming the damn divorce is final. Goddamn. Is it? So they're asking him, or at least Marceau is asking him, what up? And he replies and says, he being Ken, dark-skinned Ken, according to his Instagram, dark-skinned Ken says, I don't know if I'm going to marry her. Well, what? Boy, haven't you been trying to get at her and marry her all this time? What's up? So he says, I don't know if I'm gonna marry her, and everybody is taken aback. Everybody's taken aback because that's the first that they've heard something like this. All we know is that you've been doing, according to you, everything you can to get this chick to the altar, and now supposedly the divorce is final, and you don't know if you're gonna marry her. So anyway, they chop it up a little bit more about that, but who the hell cares? Because that girl is not gonna marry him no time soon. But anywho, so after the fact, this expression ends up on Martell's face because Martell starts to mention Marceau or whatever. And it comes out that Marceau was a little bit honest back in the day, last season when they had that little powwow outside, that little adult outdoor event that Destiny had. And Marceau ended up telling Martell, like, yeah. And I know stuff about coleslaw as well. Stuff that she's did out here with different people. So to speak, I'm paraphrasing. And after the fact, because of course Martell is very, very concerned about that, because he don't want no chick that's been with a bunch of men and all of that. He don't want that. So he doubled back and called Marceau after the fact, after the scene, later on that week, that month, or whatever, after the whole thing aired on the show. He called him, he texted him rather, and asked him, so what's up? Is that true? Who she been with? And Marceau then replied through text and said, oh, shoot, I might be mistaken, dog. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. So he had him going thinking that Coleslaw was out here and had done stuff with other men, this and that. So he had him going. And then after the fact, at the final hour, he was like, oh, yeah, I might be mistaken. Right? So, in so many words, this is what had fueled, among other things, Martell into actually getting the chick that they did the interview with, actually going forward with that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was trying to come out and say like, oh, Coleslaw had did stuff with people and this and that, and she's promiscuous. So let me go get this girl that I know that they all have been with because I was there. Right? So Martell was kind of outdone when he replied back and said, oh, like, dang, I don't know, maybe I could be mistaken. So, with that being said, and with that coming up with the guys, they all had like a truth moment, and the truth moment was with who knew Ariane or not. So it went around like, you know her. So, oh boy, I can't think of his name, but it's Ken's friend. the one that always is trying to tell Ken, you need to get the hell up out of that situation with Trisha because it's not working. It's too much goddamn work. She's not forthcoming and she's taking forever to get this damn divorce. And there's got to be a reason behind that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So it was revealed by old boy, I think his name was Will, that he actually knew coleslaw. He said, well, actually, it was asked of him. He said, they asked him, did you know coleslaw? He was like, no, not really. You know, she came by my baby mama spot. I don't know if his baby mama got a hair salon or a gym or whatever. But he was like, she came by my baby mama spot. But no, I don't really know her. And then, long story short, he doubled back around and revisited the conversation or revisited the topic and said, you know what, I'm gonna have to come clean. I actually do know coleslaw. I used to train back in the day and she came over to the house. It's like, what? Goddamn. The same scenario of Martell and Trisha knowing each other allegedly is the same damn scenario between Will and Coleslaw, allegedly, that Will trained Coleslaw and she had came over to the house and supposedly trained, and they were eating it up, especially the Scott brothers. And that's why Marceau was immediately asking, did y'all do anything other than, training? And he was like, no. And so this is the goddamn expression that that Martell had when this was being discussed. And it's what the hell he gets. I'm sorry, Martell, rather. I'm sorry, Martell. You've said too much and done too much to the ex that ain't nobody gonna be on your side, dog. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody gonna be on your side. It's what the fuck you get. Period. Okay? So that was that. Nobody has any sympathy for Martell. However, I noticed that Maurice is sitting there saying he's continuously kind of shooting out there. Everybody get out. Everybody get everything out. Everybody get everything out because I don't want to have to deal with this stuff no more. Because he want everybody, literally, like he's saying, everybody get everything out because he don't want to have to deal with no more stuff coming up about him and infidelity, especially amongst the guys. It's bad enough I got to deal with these YouTubers and all of this and that coming up with stuff and making it go viral on YouTube and on the internet. At least I can stump one thing out and dispel all the stuff amongst the group of guys. Like, I don't have to deal with this no more, especially for Martell, because he knows the where the bones is buried, and I don't have to deal with it no more. So he like, everybody let's get everything out, actually believing that ain't shit else gonna come out about y'all ever again. You're delusional. But anywho, moving on. After that, what happened? After that, because I'm not going to talk about every single thing, but after that, I think I just want to go to, because last week, I didn't see last week's episode. And then, mind you, I still tried to go back and watch it on demand, and the shit was still buffering. I don't know why. I just don't want to play the episode. But anyway, in that episode, Lance and Desperate Destiny sat down together. Obviously, I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what was said. However, they did show a little small clip of it prior to the episode that aired this past Saturday. And basically the gist of it, they talked about this whole scenario of him having a baby. You know what? Destiny, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about her a little bit later, but Destiny is a master manipulator. This bitch is good. She's a master manipulator, and I guess it's because of the situations that she's been in with her family, with her mother, everything that went on with her mother. And her being a wayward child, she went to foster care and all this stuff or whatever. And it has made her dishonest and a liar and non-trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? She tries to get over on people, and she's a master manipulator, and she's almost getting good at it, at least with the group of people that she's involved with. Okay? Her immediate group of people she's involved with, she's able to manipulate really, really well. And like I said, I'll get into it a little bit later. But look, Destiny sat down with Lance, and I'm going to just say this for this part of what my commentary is. And it was explained at that time, or understood, I won't say explained, it was understood that nothing physically transpired between the two of them. Right? Because the joke of it at the end of their conversation was is that why you went and had a baby on me? And they laughed it off. So it's understood that Lance and Desperate Destiny didn't really have any relations. And that's cool. Ain't no biggie. That's cool. But so fast forwarding to last night's episode, she sits down and have a conversation with Miss Nail. And they chop it up. Destiny is still coming with, your son didn't tell me about what happened. He didn't tell me he was having a baby. You know what I mean? The energy was weird or different at the reunion in California and in LA. That's what she keeps bringing up. And that she's tripping that you all, talking about Miss Nail and her son, ended up jumping, leaving LA, and didn't even say nothing to me, whatever. So the thing is this. She had said on that stage that she was dating. She also told Miss Nail that in the midst of them talking, she also told Miss Nail that she didn't know that guy was Miss Nail's grandson, which she probably didn't. Maybe she didn't. Okay, I'll give her that. But the fact of the matter is that you did still try to get at that guy, or was being a little fresh with him, making him known that you was kind of interested in him while Miss Nail was sitting there. So any mother of a son that, and got a girl that's dating a son sitting at the table, and the girl does that, any mother is going to feel away. That's a given. So the fact that you didn't understand why the woman felt away because she see you sitting there flirting with this man, regardless of who the F he was, is mind-boggling to me, that she didn't understand the reason why Miss Nail felt away. And I know deep down she does understand why Miss Nail feels away. But again, she's a master manipulator, and she does the underplay for the overplay a lot. Okay? And so, moving on with this, Miss Nail was just like, no, I was already feeling away because you sat up there and flirted with this guy in front of me. Mind you, it's my godson, yada, yada, yada. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. With all these faces, taking a drink of her juice or whatever it was she was drinking, making faces and this and that and this and that. And she was like, oh, well, what I didn't know. Like, that makes a difference. It didn't matter who he was, Destiny. The fact is, she was justified in feeling away because you flirting with a man in front of her. So in other words, she's saying, why the hell does my son owe you an apology or anything when you was moving like this during the whole little time that they was together? And Lance had already explained in his confessional that not too long after they started hooking up, that they realized it's not kind of sort of not going to really work. So we not really exclusive and everything like that. You know what I mean? It was just like an unspoken thing between the two of them. Like, it's not really working, whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Destiny always tries to play the victim and always tries to pull out a storyline like she's the victim and she was wronged by people. And it's just mind-boggling to me, bitch. Like, girl, you are not the victim. You are the main player in these little scenarios and these setups. You're not no victim. You knew that you and the boy Lance, or the man Lance, was not exclusive early on. After y'all tried to see what was going to happen or whatever, you knew that y'all wasn't even exclusive. So why the are you trying to make a storyline out of him having to give you an apology and the fact that he didn't tell you that he had a baby on the way? Bitch, y'all not even exclusive. Who do you think you are? You are not Beyonce. Why Miss Nell saying she's a beautiful lady. She is gorgeous. Okay, she looks okay with makeup. Okay, all of us look better with makeup. How she look without it? But anyway, so she is always trying to make it seem like she is the victim, and that is the manipulating part of her, right? So they chop it up, and have this conversation at the table, right? And at the end of the day, she's still saying, I didn't know y'all, and then y'all up, jump, and left, and then she gonna say, Letitia told me that y'all left because y'all had to hurry up and get back to Huntsville because Lance's baby mama was having the baby. And that wasn't even true, I guess, allegedly. This is what Miss Nell is saying, that it was not true. It's like, Tisha, worry about your own husband and what the fuck he doing and what the fuck that you refuse to go find out that he's doing. Why the fuck do you keep trying to put your 2 cents in everybody's business? Along with Trisha, Skeletor, stay y'all asses in y'all own business. Skeletor, you got all this stuff going on with Ken and your baby daddy, or your ex-husband, or still husband, whatever the case may be. You got enough going on. You don't need to try to put your 2 cents in nobody else's mess. And Tisha, you provided the wrong information, according to Ms. Nail. That is not why they left. They left because they did their scene, and they were out. But let's just say, for the sake of the argument, they did leave because the man baby mama was having a baby. And they don't owe you shit. Lance don't owe you shit. Y'all wasn't even exclusive. You sat there on the stage and said you was dating other people, bitch. And I'm sorry I'm getting ghetto, but this is how you gotta explain this shit when it come to Destiny ass. Seriously. Because this bitch is diabolical. And I see you driving up in a Dodge Durango. I guess you had to give the little Mercedes bottom of the line. But hey, it's still a Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, regardless of what line is in, a lot of us would still like to have a Mercedes, okay? But, apparently she had the lease for about 4 or 5 years, because she's had that car damn near since the inception of her and LeBaric coming onto the show. If you catch it way back when they first came onto the show, when they would show Destiny, pulling up to events or pulling up to people's houses or whatever, she was in this one little gray little hatchback Mercedes or whatever, and I can't remember the number and the letters of it, but it was of the lower price Mercedes. But hell, nevertheless, it's a Mercedes, goddamn it, okay? It was. But I think, and she had it for quite some time, but I think, it might have been like a 3, 4, 5 year lease or whatever, okay? Or maybe she financed it. I don't know. You never know what the fuck is really going on with Destiny, because she's a top of the line liar. But now she pulls up in a damn Durango, a gray Durango. So I don't know if she went and just, rented this just for the scene. I would hope to God she got $100 to burn. You know what I'm saying? It only take about $150 to go rent a truck or whatever. From the budget rental or whatever, Avis car rental or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it's an SUV, maybe, I don't know, 170, 180, 189 or whatever. Okay, I would hope the hell you do got access to $189 to go rent a truck if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe that's what she did. But like I said, now all of a sudden she got a Durango. She pulling up in a Durango. But anyway, so yeah, she's just a master manipulator, and she continued to sit there with Miss Nail, and they had the conversation. At the end of the day, the takeaway is that she manipulated Miss Nail because she kept saying at the end of the whole conversation is that you, like many others, have played mother to me. You know what I'm saying? Considering how my mama was wayward and whatever. And, I considered you a mother figure and all this and that. And then, mind you, she said that she been knowing Miss Nail for a decade. Huh? I'm not saying there's a lie because I don't know. I don't know for a fact. I don't know either way, if it's true, if it's not true. But that's what she says. She's been knowing her for a decade. That wasn't revealed prior to. But it could be true. I don't know. Anyway, and that she's been with her through so much, her divorce and the issue with Moses and this and that and this and that. So Miss Nell was sitting there saying, bitch, you are busy. You real busy as it relates to these men. And that, you know what I mean, you was dating a bunch of men any damn way prior to dating my son. So I don't know what to believe. Basically, is what she was saying. And Destiny was like, don't put all them bodies on me. Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, girl. Whatever. You not that clever where you gonna get out of, sharing yourself with these men any damn way. But nevertheless, for whatever reasons why, I kind of do believe that she did not do anything physical with Lance. And I believe that because Lance ain't really bigging it up. Lance ain't really, he definitely ain't saying, yes, we did. And because of that, I believe, based on him not actually standing on business and saying, yes, we did do something, I believe that they really kind of probably didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, the takeaway with the conversation with Destiny and Nell was that, she basically pulled on her heartstrings because Nell is a sucker for this title of being like a mentor or someone that the girls can come to for advice and understanding about relationships, particularly. Right? And now we know why, because she does have some type of certification in relationships or marriages or whatever. So now we know why that's a big deal to her, and she takes it seriously, and she damn sure does, because she fucked up the relationship between her and Mel simply because Mel would not own up to calling her a freaking mentor. When Mel felt like all I thought was what I was talking to my girl, and my girl was right there when I was going through some hard times with my then husband. I ain't consider you a fucking mentor, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So she fucked up the whole friendship simply because Mel would not give her that. And now we know why, because she does have some type of certification in it, right? And she takes it seriously. And so not coleslaw, but Destiny knows this, and that's what the fuck Destiny played on. The fact that she realizes that Nell is serious about this shit. So she said, I consider you a mother figure, one. Then two, she gonna spread more on top of it and say, and then I call you and I come to you for advice all the time. And that means a lot to me. Yada, 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 yada. Right? That was it. That was the only hook she needed to put out there for Nell to start eating it up and getting soft and not stand on business and just basically curb all the issues that she got with Destiny at that very moment. As soon as she said that, Nell just started falling back like, oh, okay. And then going to the confessional and say, it's great that despite that me and Destiny can have the issues and whatever, at the end of the day, she's always going to be my daughter or, my, sister or whatever the fuck, right? She curbed all the BS simply because she gave her props as it relates to, like, you're my confidant. I call you for advice. I look to you for advice, and then you're a mother figure. That's all Miss Nell needs. That's all she needed. So all that shit got curbed again because Destiny know how to play people. She's a master manipulator, point blank in the period. So fast forward to the gym. They go to the gym. Nell's godson offers her to come to the gym to work out. She's working out. The son, Lance, is there as well. Lance, pretty much puts it out there like, dig this. I wanted to talk to you. It pretty much concerns all three of us. Anywho, I sat down with Destiny. Excuse me. Miss Nell was like, oh, ish. Okay, here we go. And he was like, exactly, right? And so basically he was saying, I sat down with her. I went here and talked to her about all the stuff that was going on. Turns out I learned that Trisha, dumb, stupid ass, is the one that told Destiny, oh boy is interested in you. Talking about, I can't think of his name, but talking about the godson of Miss Nell. He is interested in you. How and where she figured that shit out, it did not come up in the show. Okay? And, he's a trainer or whatever. So, obviously she probably know him because she's in the training field as well. So she probably obviously knows him directly. I don't know if he specifically told her this or she kind of just heard it through the grapevine or what. But at the end of the day, this is the information that she conveyed back to Destiny as. And Destiny ate it up because Destiny is dying for attention from a man. Because Destiny is thirsty as F because she want to be taken care of by a man, any goddamn man, as long as they helping pay for her lifestyle. So that was what was said, and they kind of glanced across the guy, and he was kind of looking like what, really, with a smirk on his face, a smile on his face. So I don't know if it's true or not, but obviously he's probably feeling her because, like he said twice. During the little scene with them that, Destiny is pretty, Destiny is beautiful, Destiny is gorgeous or whatever, so he does feel like Destiny is so pretty, so he probably is interested in her, right? A heterosexual man seeing, as they say, a beautiful woman or whatever the case may be. And Destiny not ugly and, her shape ain't effed up. So yeah, I could see it. Not gonna take that away from her. She not ugly like Trisha ass is. And I see on the next episode she invested. She put a little bit of that money that she getting from Carlos King and bought a better wig, right? Because if the main cast ain't getting nothing but $200-$400 per episode, she probably getting about $150 or $130, and she went to Temu and got a better wig. So shout out to her for that, because that wig she had on in next week's episode does look a lot goddamn better. But anywho, so yeah, so he basically was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind hollering at her, but Miss Nell was like, I know my son. I know he did something with her. Like, why would you want to mess around or date the woman that my son was with? And I know he did something with her. And he was like, how you know? How you know? How would you know that? And, like I said early on in the taping, in my commentary, that Lance pretty much is kind of letting on that he kind of didn't do anything with Destiny. He's not saying it directly, but he's kind of letting on that nothing really happened. And then when he went to the confessional during this particular scene, he said, "Ma, come on, chill." In so many words, he like, chill. What we did or what we didn't do ain't got nothing to do with you. So to me, that means that he actually didn't really do nothing with her. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying it, but he kind of sort of didn't. Because he definitely ain't saying he did. Because if he did, he would say it, I feel. Most men own up to it. But he probably didn't because he's not owning up to it. So, and it's okay. It's cool. Whatever. He didn't get around to it. They didn't mess around long enough to do it or whatever. Destiny ass was holding out long enough. And then at the end of the day, it ended up going awry. You know what I'm saying? They didn't work out. So, I mean, it happens like that sometimes between people. So, but Miss Nell trying to still stand on business like I know my son. I know he did something. Da, 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 da. And I think she's laying it on thick because she do not want her godson to date Destiny. And I get it. I get it. So the boy, the godson is continuously saying, hey, how you know? And she's like, I know my son. But anyway, so the godson goes on to say, well, I don't want to mess things up between me and my family, you know what I'm saying? But, how you know for sure he may not have done nothing, but, it's worth a conversation. And my thing is, dog, we having a conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? The three of y'all is having the conversation right there and then. How many more conversations do you need? And that's how you know he's actually really, really interested in hollering at Destiny. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny that he was like, it deserves a conversation. And my thing is, y'all having a conversation right now. Lance is saying, hey, it's weird, but hey, if it's generally mutual interest, I can't stop it. The mama is saying, hell to the no, I don't want you to do it, period. And he still turns around and said, it deserves a conversation. It's like, dude, we having a conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? Ms. Nell don't want you to do it. And lightweight, Lance don't either. But he know, because he a man, he know he really can't stop that ish. You know what I'm saying? And he knows what's fueling you talking to her. You know what I mean? And that's the P. And he know he ain't shit up when it come to that. He can't control that, especially with another man. So he like trying to play it off like, hey, I get it. And I bless it if it's generally interest on both sides, which is like weird. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's what he's saying out loud. So this is what it is. But at the end of the day, God's son-in-law, I don't know his name, God's son-in-law, you're having a conversation with the two of them right there. They have given you their stance on it. Now it's up to you to make the decision. So he's still throwing it back out there in the court, talking about it's worth the conversation. Dude, you having a conversation about it. So you got to make the decision. Do you still want to holler at her or not? Which you probably still will, because again, like they kept saying, she's beautiful, this and that, whatever. It's a good lay for him. That's how he's looking at it. But anywho, at the end of the day, that was really the gist of the episode. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was a pretty good episode. I think Martell is getting what he deserves, right? He's getting what they call his just desserts. You getting back what you put out there. The same scenario between you and Trisha is the same scenario you getting back with your girl Coleslaw. She has actually been at somebody's house allegedly to train. And now the thing that's up in the air is, did she do something with Will or not? I mean, you can't get no better than this. You can't make this shit up. So you guys drop down in the comments. I do talk back. Tell me what you think about the episode. And until next time, guys. Ciao.